Hey guys, welcome back. It's been over a week and we got a bit of recapping to do, but first things first, I'm gonna look at the camera. Yeah, oh wait, no, the other eye. I didn't get beat up. I mean, I do the beatings, but this is part of the training. You always get hurt. It is what it is. Had fun time in New York. New York was the best. And honestly, it was really nice trading at 7 a.m. in the morning. I didn't feel like I was groggy or tired. I might have to move to the East Coast at some point. So it's kind of unmatched. But anyways, where do we stand on the month? So on the month, we have 2 red days so far. Our first red day was minimal, $10. Second red day, man, I got fucking burned. But even though we're red on the week, we're still green on the month, and I recovered. So we're gonna look at my metrics right now. So right now, obviously my largest loss is this much. Well, it was $777. I don't know why it's not putting it as 777. I mean, I did the filters from September 1st to the 14th, which I thought was odd. Let's not go there. But my average losing trade is now a lot higher than my average winning trade. My average winning trade did increase. We're now at $85 for my average winning trade. And if we look here, my P&L for each day has gotten increasingly bigger. The first week was a little slow, and I think I took that approach pretty well. I traded this, pretty cautiously. Even though I was starting off at my new size at 200 shares, I would still, I was okay. I was like, okay, this is not bad. So I know I said I wasn't going to trade Monday. However, when I got into New York, things were pretty smooth. I thought things were going to take a bit longer, meaning I thought I was going to be taking I thought I'd be getting there around 9:30, closer to the opens. And that's why I was accounting for that time, but I got there like around 8 in the morning. And it was pretty smooth, and I was like, wait, I'm going to trade. I have time. I connected to the Wi-Fi. Everything was good. Nothing was slow. And I yielded $196, However, the next day was fatal. $777 loss. And then you can't do anything but laugh. I was up $74 on the day, and man, MMA was doing really good, and here's why I should have just left. I thought about this, and I was like, I'm gonna take another trade, and boy, that sucked. And then I tried to take another trade to recover, and I should have stopped there. I really should have stopped at this. I should have stopped right here. And to make it worse, I was down $200. It got to a point where it recovered, and I should have just taken it off the table. But no, I was being greedy, and I was just being stubborn, and it is what it is. So, the best thing you do is just laugh it off. It's whatever. It's part of trading. I know it's going to happen, but I need to really take this as a lesson that even though the volatility it came back, and we're seeing my results, my profits, they're paying off, but I need to also realize that I have to keep my tight stop loss a lot stricter, because just because I think it's going to recover, it's not. I think, when there's multiple stocks going off at once, liquidity is going to be pulled from that stock that you're currently trading on. And I feel like that's what happened. As MMA was, starting to sell off, more and more people were hopping on another stock. And I think it was ADN. I'm not sure. I don't remember anything from that day. But then I noticed that there's some other stuff coming up on the scanner. And I was like, damn, this is not going to end well. But, hey, this is really good. I like what I'm seeing here from Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If we can match these results, I'm going to be up in the month the same amount as I was doing previously before this loss. And, it's a learning lesson. It's never a loss. It's a lesson. I have to look at it that way. I told myself I'm going to make this work regardless. And I have to be okay with this part of the journey. I'm right on the week, but it's fine. And I hope not to take any more losses after this and just keep green. If we're doing over $100 days for the rest of the week for the next, 10 trading days, I think we can see some pretty good profits over $1,000. And I think we could see 1,500. I'm very confident in seeing 1,500. The daily goal is still $60, but if I'm going over that goal, I'm still going to keep the goal $60, because you never know. There could be a day where maybe on a Thursday or Friday, the dud is it's just dull. Nothing there. And, It's my accuracy is still 66%, a little bit shy under 70% as my previous month, but it's this big loss that really got to me, and the whole time too. I should have just been quicker to cut it off, and I feel like also once I took my profits off the table. Here I took my profit off the table. I took profit off the table here, and Friday I tried to do a little bit more. However, PL or Z kind of sold off pretty quickly when I tried to get in. MGID, I remember this trade break of VWAP, and man, I thought that was the best move at the time. I took advantage of it. Oh man, I don't really like this. Let's look at MGID. So we'll go right here. And tomorrow morning, same thing. 4 a.m. We're gonna do everything all over again. The plan hasn't changed, except I'm gonna still enter with a starter position of $100, 100 shares. Sorry, 100 shares as my cushion, and then from there I'm gonna scale it to 200. If I can get that small base hit of maybe $60, because that will confirm my daily goal. If I can get that, then from there I'm going to scale up to 200 just to be cautious, because man, there are some sharp sell-offs. Volatility is still it's still a double-edged sword. I can't, just because things are doing well doesn't mean I should expect that things will recover. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I gotta be very, very careful. So anyways, right here. So MJID, I know this is Chinese stock. MJID, it is Chinese. No, Hong Kong. Well, yeah, Chinese. Anyways, I saw this break right over here. It was increasing, and I was like, okay, this is gonna break over VWAP. I obviously entered around here, 170. Look at my entries. Someone's showering. Okay, my entries, yeah, 170. And I got in perfectly. That's where 1,000 shares. I saw this opportunity. I wasn't going to back down. I was like, no, I gotta be confident, because I feel like before, when I was missing out on a lot of the volatility, I'd be very, very shy, but I have to take advantage of this. And this is going to be a great month. I think the rest of the month will still play out pretty well. And I exited around 184, and that was the top of the move. Around here, close, around 185, 184. As soon as this candle swinged up, I was like, I'm gonna take my profit and get out. I was hoping, for a further break of this high right here at this candle and go up straight to $2, and that would have been great to see. That would have been $300. It would have been amazing, but we did what we could, and you get what you get, and you can't get upset. So that's how I like to think about it. I know my metrics are nothing to cry over, but I hope they can improve within the next couple of trading days. And honestly, it was not too bad. I'm gonna go over my thoughts for per day on, yeah. So Monday, I already told you how that went. I took advantage, and it was the best advantage I ever took. Tuesday, we're not gonna do that again. We cannot. I was disappointed, but we're not gonna do that again. Wednesday came around, and I was like, okay, I have to stop the bleeding. I'm bleeding. Wednesday, I stopped the bleeding after I was like that $200 extra just to ice the cake. I should have stopped. Actually, I read on the first stock of the day, GLE, and I remember the sold off pretty sharply, and I was like, oh, I gotta get out. 200 shares position. I was like, dang, that's not good. Let's see. Yeah, that was not really good. And Camp came out. That sold off really quickly. If I had not taken this loss, if I had taken my win, I was up, I think, about $20-$30, and I was hoping for a bit higher push towards this stock. But it didn't go, and this would have been my best high of day ever if this wasn't for this loss, or if I didn't take this trade at all and I focused everything on Camp, and this was 269. So seeing these trades is making me, oh wow, sorry, I didn't see that. Seeing these trades is making me feel a lot more confident that, wow, I'm gonna recover. I'm already recovering, and I feel confident that the P&L will start to increase. If I keep taking advantage of these volatility, I can really put myself in a big cushion for this month going into next month. And if next month starts to get a little bit colder, starts to steam off a little bit, I can dial it back. I can dial my aggressiveness back a little bit, and take it as I took August. Just go slow. Don't go play hero. So I did good by turning the corner, because previously I would have maybe 2 or 3 consecutive red days in a row following a big loss, but I stopped that, and that is showing my improvements. and I was pretty happy, and I was like, okay, it's not bad. Even though I went red on first trade, I was like, nope, we're gonna take this back, and we just gotta stay calm. And I kept my emotions. You know, I didn't have my bear, but you know, my friends were sleeping in the same room, so I couldn't crash out either. So I was like, okay, that helps. Thursday, I had enough trade left over, and I was like, you know what, I can't do this Thursday. It was my last day in New York, and I was like, I'm not gonna make this last day a shitty red day. It would suck if I left the same day, you know, on a red day. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I just can take it off the table, and I did. And Friday, came here. I got home around like 2:30. I stayed up all morning, and I was like, you know what? I already told you how this trade went. So I'm looking forward to the next couple days. Oh, I didn't even see there's 2 more days in September, so that makes me feel better. And honestly, I really think that the scaling was working pretty well, and I'm excited to see for what next month has to offer. I mean, I can't wait to scale up to 300 shares. So I'm most excited to scale up to 1,000 shares on these common, like, you know, $2 to $5 stocks, because I feel like I will have the size to justify taking those trades. But also with this volatility, man, getting those 20, 50 cents up on 1,000 shares, that is a dream. You know, $500 a day, and then just consistently hitting that and staying within that consistency, I think will really start scaling up my profits and P&L. So, man, I don't know about you guys, but I hope you guys are doing well and just playing safe. Yeah, so look at this P&L. Yeah, we dropped pretty sharply over here, but we made a pretty good recovery. There's not going to be a dead cat bounce. No, no, no. No dead cat bounce. So, we're going to go up. But, yeah. So now my metrics are kind of fucked, but let me know what you guys want to see more of. I'm just keeping this content similar to I'm just keeping it straight to day trading. Hopefully Friday I can live stream. Live streaming on Friday is probably the best day. Monday to Thursday are a bit too chaotic, and I feel like I'm gonna wake up like pretty I don't know, pretty pissy in the morning. I'm just busy, you know, most of those days, and it's just harder for me to kind of get up, get things going, stay active, engaged. So I think Friday will be really good. So Friday. All right, you guys take care and have a good rest of your day. Peace.